The West had many words for what happened in Crimea. They called it an invasion, annexation, aggression, anything but the obvious, the will of the people. Their answer to what happened in Kiev, to what the West helped happen in Kiev. As Ukraine slid into chaos and upheaval, as nationalists backed by neo-Nazis seized power and weapons and backing from the West, Crimea decided to act. Local authorities decided on a referendum. Russian forces stationed in Crimea disarmed Ukrainian troops, many of whom would end up joining the Russian army. They did this to give their people a say and to prevent the bloodshed that would tear Ukrainian society apart from consuming Crimea.
I was indeed afraid of what would happen if new Ukrainian authorities came here. I had reasons to be afraid. I once came to the Ukrainian city of Ivano-Frankovsk and was ignored and discriminated if I spoke Russian instead of Ukrainian.
There would have been bloodshed here, worse than in the Donbass. Our region is rather specific, full of different nationalities aside from Russians and Ukrainians.
The West rejected this, in doing so denying the Crimean people's will, as it rejected and denied its own role in making Maidan happen.
This is about the future you want for your country. This is about the future you deserve. Future in Europe, a future of peace. The free world is with you. America is with you. I am with you.
The vast majority of those who participated on the Maidan were peaceful protesters.
Crimea likely escaped a terrible fate, the fate that befell hundreds, even thousands deemed to be pro-Russian elsewhere. In Odessa, nationalists burned pro-Russian protesters. In Kharkiv, hundreds were kidnapped, beaten, and many disappeared. In the Donbass, they mounted an anti-terrorist operation that would kill 14,000 people over 8 long years. It was largely Western blessings, loans, and arms shipments that made this civil war possible. They emboldened Kiev to keep shooting. American and British advisors trained fighters from neo-Nazi battalions, fighters with swastika tattoos and patches once worn by Hitler's murderous SS divisions. They made no secret of this. And throughout, Western media and politicians almost entirely shut their eyes to what was going on. 8 years on, Crimea is well and truly Russia, as it was before the USSR arbitrarily gifted the peninsula to Ukraine, only to be shunned and derided. Under Ukraine, Crimea was always chronically underfunded, and Crimeans themselves resented by their more nationalist-minded countrymen, especially from Western Ukraine. Since it joined, despite sanctions, tremendous amounts of progress have been made. Thousands of kilometers of roads laid, as well as infrastructure, hospitals, kindergartens, schools, all built from scratch or repaired from a sorry state. Crimea's choice in 2014 spared it 8 years of nationalist tyranny and ideological purges which have wrecked Ukraine. Here, there are few regrets. In Crimea, they now live a new life, a better life.
We live well. There is no war. The city is being repaired. We now live a completely different life. We can even afford raising children.
Life has changed very much for the better.
I was born in Russia, and I was happy beyond measure to return to my home country.
The West and Ukraine have done everything to make life unbearable for Crimeans. They dammed Crimea's water supply, cut off power, and saddled more than 1 million people with ruinous sanctions and a near total economic blockade. But they failed to break Crimea. And 8 years on, the peninsula is more sure than ever before that it made the right choice. Morad Gazdiev from Krasnoperekopsk, Crimea.